It's Monday. It's OddsChecker TV. You know what that means. It's time for BMatt's NBA props. As you can probably imagine, it's Brian Matthews, aka BMatt, aka the prop god, prop master. Brian, I told you I was going to come back with something better. I hit you with just Brian Matthews as your nickname last week, but that's in the past. Appreciate you hopping on the show.
I appreciate you, man. That's pretty Flavor Flav-esque. I like that, man. That's a good hype man intro right there. I feel like I'm ready to make some picks.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. Before we get into some hoop stuff, just want to talk a little bit of Super Bowl yesterday. Obviously, there's a lot that went on. It was, I think, what most people imagined: high scoring, shootout, fun, but not exactly in the way we all imagined. I don't know about you, I had like all my parlays had like Mahomes at least 230 passing yards, 250 passing yards. The fact that the Chiefs won it was that high scoring, he didn't break 200. Was impressive, but it's been enough doomsday talk for me in terms of my NBA Super Bowl parlays today. What was your favorite hit of yours yesterday? Maybe not the biggest, but your favorite one.
Look, I like quick hits, right? So I came on the show. I was talking about Jalen Hurts scoring the first touchdown. Thankfully, Kenneth Gainwell's touchdown, and not thankfully for another parlay I had, got called back. So that was a fun one. I had Travis Kelce as the first Chiefs player to make a reception at plus 300, A.J. Brown receiving yards, and then, had a few parlays, a Sky Moore, Kenneth Gainwell, anytime touchdown parlay that obviously ended up falling short, and then fell short on a plus 7,000 by a Jerick McKinnon touchdown. And we all know how he gave himself up on the one, which was a smart play. Hard to watch though. So it was definitely a good day overall, but yeah, I had some bumps and bruises too.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of that going on. I was on the morning edge earlier with Dead Prez. I missed the classic. I had a Devontae Smith. It was a Devontae Smith. I think it was Jerick McKinnon, Travis Kelce, Jalen Hurts parlay, and of course two brutal legs to miss there. But I think the one that hurt the most for me, I took both teams to score a touchdown in each half, which hit. That was easy. But I also took both teams to have a touchdown and a field goal in both halves. And that Butker off the upright was tough. I was like, that was my opportunity right there. Like that hurt. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hey, man, I was on that same play, actually. I had $25 on it, and the odds were actually really good. So that doink killed us, man. That doink happened. I looked at the time left in the half. I said, yeah, we're not getting one.
Yeah, you knew it. You knew it immediately. It was done. Look, I'm also not going to sugarcoat this. Friday was a little rough for us, but, we talked a little on off air. About some of the things we missed, some of the things we hit. And today, I did check my calendar. It seems like today is a new day and it is not still Friday, which means that we have an opportunity for some more bangers coming your way. And hey, if anything, I'm just going to flip the script and say, whatever I pick, don't follow it. So I am technically giving you winners. You just have to pick if you're following it or not. And that's on you at that point. I'm kidding, of course. But in all seriousness, Brian, we do have an interesting slate for tonight. Things have kind of settled at this point after the trade deadline. So let's get right to it. What do you got for the people for today?
All right. Look, I'm going to go first. Nikola Vucevic, right? Now, here's a guy. You kind of have to figure out the right angle to play. Like, is it his points this night? Is it his rebounds, his assists? I'm going to take rebounds and assists. So, look, Nikola Vucevic against the Magic this year has cleared this number in both games. Also happens to be the team he used to play for, and he usually has pretty good games. So, the rebounds and assists, he's had 23 and 19 against Orlando this year. So, look, he's gone over that number now in 7 of his last 8, and he's crushed the number against his old team. Always seems to play extra motivated. So I'll take Vucevic in a plus spot against his former team, over 15.5 rebounds plus assists, which is minus 115 at FanDuel.
And look, that all sounds great to me. Like everything checked every boxes of what you look for. Two things I'm worried about, though. One, the fact that it's Nikola Vucevic, and two, it's the fact that it's against the best team in the league and the Orlando Magic. Does that worry you?
Well, against the Boston Celtics, you're right, man. They are the best team in the league. But, hey, look, I like the spot. He seems to play up for it, right? And, yeah, Vucevic has definitely burned me a few times. Just look at the matchup, look at his numbers. I say, look, here's a guy that likes to get out and prove it against his old team. Wendell Carter on the other side, he likes to do the same against his old team, both part of the Bulls and Magic formerly. So look, I'm going to roll with Vooch tonight. If he burns me, I'm good with it because the numbers back it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I like it. What's number 2 on the docket?
All right, so I like this one a lot. So I was looking at this last night, or trying to see, when I could get this released. Colin Sexton. So he is now the starting point guard for the Utah Jazz since
Got a
Mike
little
Conley was
jazz
shipped out.
inflection.
Yeah, right.
Point the guard.
There you go. So look, he's had 3 games as starting point guard. He's gone over 4.5 assists in all 3 games. And now you look at it, they play the Pacers. There's an implied total of 238 total points. The spread it's basically a pick 'em right now. So you're going to have a lot of points, a lot of assist opportunities. And if you dive back into the numbers, so over the last 3 games, since he's become the starting point guard for the Utah Jazz, he is 12th in the NBA in potential assists per game. So 13 potential assists per game. So look, we just need not even half the guys to hit the shots, right, for him to cover this 4.5 number. And at minus 105, I like it a lot.
All right. So is this we haven't gotten to pick number 3 yet, but does this get your like BMatt like stamp of approval, like best bet of them?
I like it, man. I really do. Sexton's a guy. I may have played it heavier than I normally play other plays, but still going with 1 unit and for recommendation's sake. But yeah, I like Sexton a lot. I think one of the key things is like trying to stay away from the All-Stars at this time of year, right? A lot of these guys are looking for that mid-year break. And then, you've got a lot of guys that are saying like, hey, here's my only time I'm going to get an opportunity to prove myself or some extended run, right? So those are the guys that I'll try to focus on, guys with something to prove. So I like Sexton a lot. I mean, the matchup with Indiana is a great matchup. It looks like the game should stay close when you look at these 2 teams. So I think he should be able to cruise past the number.
Okay, I'm in on that, and I'm gonna have a little bit on the whole All-Star snub and staying away from All-Stars a little later. Hit me with pick number 3.
All right, so look, last pick, I'm going to go with a guy that was just shipped out of town and look, made his debut with the Nets. He looked great. I'm going to go Mikal Bridges. So this is a guy over 18.5 points. This is a guy who's done this now in 7 straight games. I was trying to see how his role would adjust. Nearly had a 30% usage rate, almost put up 20 shots. So he's actually shouldering a little bit more than he did even with Devin Booker out in Phoenix when that was the case. So when you look at that, Dinwiddie's got, a number of potential assists, so he's looking for his teammates. And when you watch, they're a fun team to watch. There aren't many selfish guys on that team right now. So, they're all looking to set each other up. And Bridges had a big game. I think he'll continue that going forward.
I was looking at this. I'm all in on the finger gun threes that he was doing. Like, I will say, my TikTok algorithm has suddenly turned into just like really sad Mikal Bridges edits. Because he does seem sad that he had to leave Phoenix. It's really funny because everyone's kind of really turned on the Suns over the last, 2-ish years. But Mikal Bridges was kind of that guy that was immune to that. At least the big guys. I don't think anyone really hated Cam Johnson. But yeah, everyone seems to really be on him, and he seems to have fit in well with Brooklyn. So I like that pick as well. I do have a pick from that game. Before I get to that one, though, I'll start with my first one. I had it on the morning edge this morning. I felt like it might be a little bit of just like cheating or just like a little lazy to keep that pick. But then I thought to myself, I like the pick. I released it a couple hours ago, so there's no reason to not go with it. So I'm going to stay with it. I'm going to go with your Cavs against my Spurs, although I don't think I want to put any money on the actual outcome of that game because I'll lose a lot of it. I'm going to go with Jarrett Allen over 28.5 points, rebounds, and assists at minus 115 on DraftKings. That's where you can get your best number. This is something that he has hit in 6 straight games. And again, this is a theme that you're going to see on this show and just everyone in general. Bet against the Spurs in whatever capacity you can. They are getting a couple guys back, to be fair. So the game might be a little closer than that 13.5, though I would not advise touching that, honestly. But you get Keldon Johnson back, Sohan's back.
Yep.
Again, there's just no one down low. Like, even with Zach Collins scoring, I think it was like 30 against the Pistons and went to double OT. Like, this is a team that got destroyed by the Pistons. 2 guys hit this number between Duren and Stewart against them in that double OT game. Capella had 27 points, rebounds, and assists in their last game. So they're right there. And again, 6 straight for Jarrett Allen. And this is something that we were talking about off air. It's just, a little tricky sometimes between Mobley and Allen because they both are big bodies and they can grab these. But between these, Evan Mobley's at 30 and a half points, rebounds, and assists, and Jared Allen has actually been putting up better numbers over the last 6 games. When you're just basing it right off of points, rebounds, and assists. Mobley's hit this in 3 of his last 6. If you lower the number to just 30, he's hit 4 of his last 6. But I mean, if I can have Jared Allen with 2 less at that point, he's been putting up better numbers. And knowing the Spurs also give up a lot of threes against men, which is, the only huge difference between Mobley and Allen, I'd rather take Allen at that point. So give me Jared Allen over 28 and a half points, rebounds, and assists against my lowly, disappointing, and frankly embarrassing Spurs.
It looks like they're doing that by design. Let's be honest, though. I mean, look, tanking for Wembanyama. I mean, it's a thing, right? I mean, like Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, Sohan. I mean, all these guys, are they all hurt that bad? Or is it, hey, who knows? But, it sounds like they might be in the hunt for that pick.
You asked me if I want to wobble for Wembanyama. I'm saying yes 13 million times out of 10. Even if I get Scoot Henderson or anyone else in that top 5, I am good.
Hey, man, if he's got a chance to be half as good as everybody says he is, hey, you might take a year setback for, building your franchise in the future.
Yeah, I was on board before, well before this video, but seeing that video that he had like a GoPro on, or he was just holding the phone where he was like dribbling and like shooting and dunking, I was like, yeah, this is freakish. Like I am good. Going back to that Knicks-Nets game, try that one again. Going back to that Knicks-Nets game you talked about a little earlier, I'm going to go with someone a little different. I'm going to go Jalen Brunson over 25 and a half points. Best number you can get that at is minus 105 on BetMGM. This one actually slid down a little bit as we've gone over. You can get it at over 24 and a half points on BetRivers. That's at minus 118, but I grabbed it at 25 and a half, so that's what I'm going to stay with here. He's averaging 29 points per game over his last 10, 31 points per game over his last 5. You talk about an all-star snub. This guy has a fire under his ass. He has been fantastic for the Knicks. He has been the main offensive threat for him over, honestly, the last month. A little worried about Mikal Bridges maybe getting some of that attention. Very good defensively. But there are just a lot of big bodies on this Knicks team that can score. So I think he might get pulled away a little more. Either way, I think he's going to back his way into this. Should be a good game. It's always a good game between the Nets and Knicks. A little extra fire to, want to come out and show out. So I think Jalen Brunson has no problem. I'll say that. I'm that confident. He has no problem hitting that over 25 and a half points today against the Nets.
Hey, man, Jalen's been a cash cow for me recently. I can't fade the pick. You got to keep rolling with the hot hand, right?
Yeah, hey, that's all I need to hear. I mean, I have 2 picks. I'm on a little bit of a cold spell. I have 2 picks, and BMatt tells me that he likes both of my picks a lot. So my confidence is just like a untouchable level.
Hey, look, here's the good news, man. It's basketball. We've got, look, we're not down. Look at us on the on the season here. We got plenty of time to get right back up. So I got a good feeling about tonight's slate, man. We'll be talking Thursday. I think we'll be talking about some winners.
Yeah, plenty of game left to be played. Let's round it out with our DraftKings most bet on props for today. We've had some weird slates. Like we had one a couple weeks ago that was just like all guard blocks unders. That was obviously someone just like throwing $1 million on a parlay or something like that. Then I think last week we had one where it was just all player point totals. And Ingram was on there twice. And today the special apparently is 3-pointers made. So I'm going to read you the top 5 most bet on DraftKings props along with the odds. But of course, make sure you're using our grid to get the best odds. And while you're there, make sure you're subscribing to our YouTube page right here at OddsChecker US. We're giving away $500 for this February. All you have to do is subscribe at OddsChecker US here on YouTube and comment on any video. Comment BMatt, comment NBA props if you want to. Anything you want on any video, you're automatically entered to win $500 on us. All right, without further ado, let's read through these props for today, most popular ones. First one is Kyrie Irving over 2.5 3-pointers made at minus 165. Donovan Mitchell over 2.5 3-pointers made, minus 175. Jalen Green over 2.5 3-pointers made, minus 105. Jalen Brunson over 25.5 points, minus 105. Does not make me feel very good. And then Joel Embiid over 10.5 rebounds, minus 125. All right, BMatt, you got them on your screen as well. Which one of these do you like? Which ones do you hate? Which ones are you just wildly indifferent towards?
All right, so look, right away, and this might be more of a personal preference, but look, betting on Donovan Mitchell 3-pointers and Jalen Green 3-pointers, it's not going to be profitable long term. But you might get them on a good night. They might shoot 9 to 10 of them. It doesn't mean you're going to win money, unless they hit. But yeah, 3-point props are always tricky, right? You live by them, you die by them. It's a dangerous game. A guy could have 25 points and go 1 for 8 from three. So it's like, all right, well that's kind of tough. Those two guys, look, I like to stay away from them unless it's Jalen Green playing the Sacramento Kings. It's like one of the few spots where I'm like, yep, green light, go ahead. So look, I have to fade those two. Who?
Pun intended? You said green light.
Oh, didn't mean to. There we go.
Pretty good, huh?
Nice catch. So look, those two I have to fade. Look, Kyrie, I think there's a lot of juice on that. He's hit it, and I think like 7 of his last 8. His line when he was with the Nets was at 3.5. So I get the temptation. I think this might be the safer of the 3-point plays, but I also think you have to eat a lot of juice on a 3-point prop, which I don't love. I'll be honest, too, Joel Embiid rebounds. So, 10.5 rebounds against Houston seems easy. But here's my thing. They have been wanting to keep Joel Embiid. They've been wanting to give him an off day. They're playing the Houston Rockets. What better day to give Joel Embiid an off day than the Houston Rockets? They've had some games that they've needed to win. You've got a 13.5-point spread for this one. So, I'm not so sure that Joel Embiid plays in this game. But if he does, sure, 10.5 rebounds looks solid, but let's also remember this is Joel Embiid, who recently has been rebounding the ball well. But at the beginning of the season, you were seeing 40.5 rebound games, 40.6 rebound games, and that was kind of what you expected. So, I love the matchup against Houston, but how long can that game be competitive, right? And if you're trying to get a guy like Joel Embiid to rest, do you take him out, when you're up big in the second half, not necessarily late in the game, maybe a little earlier than that. So, can't say that, look, he should hit that number, but I don't love that prop. And I'm missing one. I know that.
Yeah, no bias in this one. Jalen Brunson over 25.
Yeah, no. I mean, I haven't even heard of that pick until this very moment, but I like it a lot. Yeah, it's a solid one. I mean, some guy with some good insight must have made that pick.
This is too good to be true. We got 5 most popular bets. I happen to be on there, which scares me as is. And then you say you're not a huge fan of the other 4 and you like mine. I gotta get a pulse check here.
Look, man, we know fade the public normally, but last time we saw, right, we faded and then 4 hit. It was like, wait a minute. And it wasn't necessarily fading them. It was just saying these aren't great matchups, but Ingram came through, and I guess since he was on there twice, he's responsible for 40% of the cashes, so it's, I guess slightly skewed numbers there. But yeah, I mean, I like the spot. Jalen Brunson's playing with a chip on his shoulder. It feels like he's having more fun now that he's got Josh Hart on his team. Looked like they were having a little fun last night, and he's rolling, man. It's kind of funny when you look back and say Dallas, everyone kind of thought all right, he's being made better by Luka, right? And I'm sure that was a little bit of the case. But now you're looking and you're like, hey, if he's in charge of the offense, he can keep one going. So I like Brunson. I think he's playing with a chip on his shoulder, and those are the guys around All-Star break that you love to bet on.
Yeah, and look, I mean, it's important in our industry to admit when you were wrong. I thought Jalen Brunson was going to be good. I thought this was a wild overpay, and I thought that Knicks defense was going to be garbage and that they weren't going to be that good and that he wasn't enough of a swing. The Knicks might not be great, but it is sure as hell not Jalen Brunson's fault.
No.
Offense. So,
hey, look, I'll agree. Yeah, I agree with you. I kind of had that same takeaway. Look, all right, he'll help them, right? But at that price point, is it worth that? And look, man, you watch this year, he's kind of the heart and soul of that team, right? He's making plays everywhere, whether it's, clutch shots or, big passes. Jalen Brunson's proven to be a big hole that Dallas obviously felt the need to go and, replace as far as getting Kyrie Irving. They needed another player opposite, Luka there.
Yeah, I mean, this quickly turned from Julius Randle's team and RJ Barrett's team to Jalen Brunson's team. Maybe the best point guard in New York since prime Raymond Felton. That's obviously a joke. That maybe we'll go Stephon Marbury for best Knicks point guard.
Starberry.
But hey, some respect has to be put on Raymond Felton's name. That's a Knicks legend right there. Unfortunately, it's a rough history for
Yeah, hey
for
man,
Knicks fans.
there's some though. We can go back further. Look, they got
Yeah.
Novak. I mean, that belt celebration on those 3-pointers was lovely.
Yeah, that's how rough it's been. How rough it's been for Knicks fans.
I
BMatt, I
tried, man.
appreciate you. I appreciate you hopping on the show. We're gonna have you back a little later this week. Hopefully, we are in the green again and we keep the ball rolling. Appreciate you hopping on.
It's happening, man. Appreciate you having me on.